Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. Tonight, we have the privilege and pleasure of having with us Mr. Osaya Shukushe, who is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. Ladies and gentlemen, he will be speaking to us on the topic workplace ethics and professionalism. I would like to quickly introduce him. He's not a first-timer on this call. In fact, he has graced us with his knowledge and expertise a couple of times, and it's always a privilege and pleasure to have him share with us so magnanimously. Mr. Osaya Shukushe is the Managing Director and CEO of Shukushe Consultancy Limited, Abuja. He's a retired Deputy Director, Human Resources, and has over 43 years of working experience before he retired at the age of 61 in 2022. Is the real veteran. He's a fellow Chartered Institute of Management of Nigeria. Is a former elected council. Is also currently a member of the Public Policy Advocacy Committee of the CIPM. He is the author of the highly revered book, Retirement: How to Have a Productive Retirement. And I'm proud and glad to say I have a copy of that book. It belongs to several other professional bodies in addition to the CIPM. He is a fellow of the Information Marketing and Management Institute of Nigeria. He is a fellow of the Institute for Management Consultants Nigeria. He is also a certified management consultant. He is a fellow Chartered Institute of Administration. He is a licensed public practitioner, Chartered Institute of Administration. He is a fellow Chartered Institute of Change Management International and a governing council member of the same institute. He's also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Business Managers and Administration, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to have with us the veteran, former elected council member, Mr. Osaya Shukushe. My fellow sir, you have the floor as you speak to us on workplace ethics and professionalism. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, my ECM. Thank you very much, Doctor, for this opportunity and the platform you granted me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining this platform. Today, we are going to discuss workplace ethics and professionalism. Okay. So I will start with a quote. It's a Japanese proverb that says, "The reputation of 1,000 years is determined by the conduct of 1 hour." We are going to look at, in this paper, within the next 50 minutes or thereabout, we'll define a few terms on the topic like workplace ethics and professionalism. Then what is workplace ethics? We will discuss that, and then some ethics and professional behaviors, characteristics of unethical and unprofessionalism in the workplace. We'll look at the features of a culture of professionalism, consequences of unethical and unprofessional behavior. Then we'll conclude, and then there will be time for questions and answers. We'll look at the definitions. The first term definition we'll look at is workplace. What is workplace? Workplace is a specific location or environment where individuals engage in tasks and responsibilities assigned to them by their employer or organization, or even people who are not working. They are on their own as self-employed. So the location where they perform those functions is workplace. It can be at home or any small office or anywhere. And then we'll look at what is ethics. Ethics are moral beliefs and rules about right and wrong. This definition, I got it from Collins Dictionary. We'll look at professionalism. Professionalism, by way of definition, is a way of thinking, behavior, and appearance that demonstrate a commitment of excellence in all aspects of one's work. So we'll look at work ethics. Work ethics has to do with appearance, the way that somebody appears, because in most organizations, they have code of conduct on how to dress. In some place, they call it dress code. So the way you appear shows that whether you are an ethical person or not. That's why, like the scripture says, by their works you shall know them. So by their dress, we shall know you, your appearance, whether you are an ethical person or not. And then work ethics also involves attendance. As human resource professionals, we are the ones that make the laws and enforce the laws. And one of the laws that we do observe and enforce is that of attendance. And then we'll also, work ethics implies assistance. As HR professionals, we assist employees and then even the employers and any other person that we've come across. And then our attitude really matters. When somebody portrays a certain type of attitude, we say this person has no ethics, especially negative attitudes. Then character too has to do with the ethics, the way that you portray yourself. And then the way that we communicate also portrays whether this is the person has ethics or not, or the person observes ethics or not. Then in terms of collaboration, integrity, organizational abilities, productivity, respect, and teamwork. These are examples of work ethics. So what are some good ethical and professional behaviors at work? The first one is productivity. Anybody that is productive shows that that person has good ethics and the person is professional at his workplace. So anybody that is not productive, it means that person is not showing ethical conduct and then is not professional at his place. The workplace, as we've defined, any location. So we didn't define what type of work, because that is not the subject on this matter that we are discussing this evening. The second that we'll look at, the good ethical and professional behavior, is accountability. Accountability is not only when you account for money that was given to you. No, accountability has to do with the way you do your work, the way you report, the way you explain things to your bosses or to your supervisors, or even as HR to your management, whether you are an accountable person or not. And then also part of good ethical and professional behaviors at work is showing initiative. You don't have to wait until when they tell you what to do as an HR professional or any other professional that has joined this call this evening. You have to take initiative. And then critical thinking. Anybody that shows good ethical behaviors and professional behaviors, it's somebody that thinks critically on ways and means of how the workplace will be enhanced. And then, of course, you have to stay professional. There are so many areas we will look at that shows that you, whether you are a professional or not, but as a professional organization, as professional members, we have to stay professional in everything that we do in the workplace. And then we also have to be good examples. If you show good example, then you are exhibiting good ethical and professional behavior at work. Then resolution of conflicts is another ethical and professional behavior when you are able to handle conflict, and especially as HR professionals, that is one of our core areas. That's why we are the ones in charge and handling the affairs of the human resources that are entrusted into our care. So if there are conflicts, we should be able to resolve them in such a way that they will know that yes, the way we resolve them is ethical, there is no any favoritism, and that we do it professionally. And then in terms of punctuality, too has to do with our attendance to programs, our attendance to office, our attendance to things, even at work. You don't have to keep people working, waiting for you to attend to them. As a professional and as somebody that wants to show good ethics as part of your behavior, is that you should be able to attend to people, promptly, and you have to be punctual during meetings and rest, and then have positive attitude, or look at some of the negative attitudes that people say during in the workplace. But as a professional and as somebody that shows good ethical conduct, you have to be positive, even when things are not going the way it's supposed to be. As an HR professional, you have to be positive. And a lot of employees depend on you. So if as a professional, you don't have positive attitude towards your work, then they will, as an example, somebody that they are looking up to, they will definitely copy it, which is not good. And then it's our responsibility as part of good ethical conduct and professionalism is to be able to blow whistles. When we see things that are not supposed to be done, when we see individuals doing things that are not responsibility, to be able to blow the whistle. There are so many ways to do that, but time will not permit us. And then we should take pride in our work. When people are complaining in the workplace, as a good ethical person, a professional worker, especially in HR, as a HR professional, please, you should take pride in your work. And there are so many ways to do that. The way you talk, the way you compose yourself, the way you treat people and dress, they will really know whether you take pride. The way you talk about your organization, your job functions and dress, it will show whether you are taking pride in your work or not. But as I said, you are supposed to do that to show good ethical and professional behavior. And then you should be able to make corrections to issues. When things are not going on well, it's your responsibility to correct those issues. And there are so many ways that you can do it that will show that actually you are a professional. Sorry. Sorry, my mouse is misbehaving. Okay, we'll look at the qualities to work that makes us professionals. I'm sorry that the mouth is behaving, but we'll look at competence. Competence has to do with our experience, our skills, our attitude, the way we set goals, our ethical behaviors, our ability, our growth, a lot of things. We are supposed to show that we are professionals by being competent in the things that we do. And then ethics. Etiquette has to do with the way that we respond to people, the way that we answer people, the way that we talk, the way we eat, the way we compose ourselves, a lot. And one example is even the way we answer our calls. As a professional in your workplace, you should be able to answer your telephone in a professional manner. Don't just pick your call and say, who is on the line? No, that's ethic. It's not correct. It's not good. You have to answer it in such a way that the person at the other end will really get the message and will receive it inside, and the person will be able to tell you why he or she called. And then we must have, as professionals, organizational skills. There are a lot of skills that we have to imbibe. There are a lot of skills that we have to exhibit as professionals. So we'll look at the characteristics of ethical and professionalism in the workplace. And one of such characteristics is loyalty. As professionals, we must be loyal to our organization, we must be loyal to the management, and we must be loyal to even the people that we are managing as human resource professionals. Another characteristic that shows that we are professionals and we exhibit ethical conduct is the fact that we are productive. We just have to be productive. As a professional, that's why you are employed, that's why you are working. It's not just because of the money, no, but you have to be productive. If you are not productive and you receive salary or whatever payment, then it's not good. It's unethical for you to receive payment while you are not productive. And then high morale. As an HR professional, your morale should always be high because people, the employees, are looking up to you. So if your morale is down, then definitely it will affect them, and that will also affect the work. And in that case, you are not being ethical, and then you are not being professional. Growth and expansion, of course, is part of our responsibility to ensure that the organization or the place we work for or we work with grows and expand. Nobody will be happy. And if it happens that while you are working, there is no growth, no expansion, it shows that one, you lack ethics, two, you lack professionalism. You are not professional. Because if you are in a place and the place is dying and you call yourself as a professional, then you are not. Maybe we will give you a different name. And then recognition. As HR professionals, we should be able to recognize the efforts of other employees, the efforts of people that we work with. It's very simple things that are not so heavy, things that are not much. For example, when you give your subordinates work or an assignment and the person does that, you should be able to recognize that and appreciate the person. And then, of course, creativity is highly expected of us as professionals. We have to be creative. You don't have to work waiting for people to tell you what to do. And also, you don't have to stick to, okay, this is my job description. I will not go beyond that. No, you have to be creative. And then collaboration. We have to be people, professionals that collaborate with one another. There is no single individual on earth that knows everything. There is no individual that knows every work. Even in HR, you cannot do all the work alone. No, you have to collaborate with your colleagues and at times with your professional colleagues in other organizations. So it's very important. And then cooperation. You have to cooperate with your colleagues. You have to cooperate with other professionals to show that you are, is one of the characteristics of an ethical person and also a professional. So how do we encourage ethics and professionalism in the workplace? One, by being fair, fairness. You treat everybody fairly. Don't treat somebody different because the person is your friend or the person because the person is your enemy, if there's anything like that. No. As professionals, we should treat people fairly. Go by the rules. If the rule says everybody should go to work by 9 o'clock, and then some people go to work at 10 o'clock, and then you issue them query or whatever, and then your friend goes to work at 11 o'clock. To be fair, you also have to give him or her the same treatment. If you issue people query, that person should also be given a query. So that means you are being fair to everybody. The second thing under that is that you have to be clear and consistent when communicating. Communication is very important. So if you are communicating, you are giving directives, let it be very clear, because if it is not very clear, people will misunderstand you and they will not do the right thing. And at the end, it will be a problem. And then you have to be consistent. Don't say something now, later on you change, or you give this one different directive, the other one different directive. No, it has to be consistent. And then policies and procedures. The policies and procedures that we make as professionals, there should be policies that will bring growth to the organization, will bring productivity, and will guide how the workers will behave, how things are being done in the workplace. And then transparency. You have to be transparent. You have to be open. Don't be doing, let me use the pidgin word, moku or the hide and seek. No, you have to be transparent as an ethical person, as a professional. And then accountability, I've said it, and it will keep appearing because it's a major thing when it comes to ethics and professionalism, accountability. And then recognition is also one of the things that we do. When you recognize somebody's work or somebody's sacrifice or somebody's behavior, it goes a long way. The other thing is the issue of training. Training is very important, and we can never be tired. We can never stop training. We'll keep training people, especially on things that have to do with ethics and professionalism at workplace. There are a lot of people that have worked for so many years, but the way they behave, the way they work shows that they have not been trained. Of course, training is not only the external training, but training on the job, training in-house, and there are so many ways you can train people, not even only using books and dress. And then plans of action. You should be able to plan things that you should be able to do as a professional. Don't just be doing haphazardly. No, you should be able to plan things that you will do. The same thing with the people that you supervise and dress. And then we should be able, as part of our ethics and professionalism, we should be able to give constructive feedback. It's very critical, especially for us as professionals in HR. We should be able to give constructive feedback. Don't condemn people. Don't condemn their work. No, but give constructive feedback that will help them. That's why the word constructive is very important, is there. Things that will build rather than destroy. And then you should be considerate. Being considerate is showing empathy, very important. Those are part of the things that shows that, yes, we are professionals. We also practice good ethics and professionalism in the workplace. And then good judgment. You have to show wisdom in the workplace. There are a lot of issues that come across us, especially for us as HR professionals that we handle. So we need to give good judgment, and we must handle certain things using wisdom. If you don't use wisdom on so many areas, it's not only going to affect you, but the organization and the staff, the workforce of that workplace. So we'll look at ethical and unprofessional things that people say at the workplace. And one of such common things, people will say, everybody does it. When people are doing the wrong thing, you are not supposed to follow them. Just like for those of us who are Christians, there's a scripture that says, you should not follow the multitude to do evil. So because everybody is doing it, that doesn't make it right at all. So those are ethical and unprofessional things. So when people are saying those things, you shouldn't continue to follow them. You shouldn't repeat those things. In fact, instead, you should even correct them. The second thing people say is that is not part of my job description. Unfortunately, a lot of workers, they don't read or they don't understand their job description very well. Because virtually in every job description, you will find a clause where it says that to perform any other function that is assigned to you. So that any other function has no limits. So when people begin to say it is not in my job description, this is an ethical and unprofessional statement. Then nobody will notice it. You go and do things secretly, or you hide certain things and you feel nobody should notice it. That is an ethical and unprofessional thing to do. The other one is that I don't get paid enough. If you are not paid enough, why are you still working? Why are you there? Why do you want to pollute the minds of people that are ready to work? That is an ethical, that is an unprofessional thing to do or to say. So if you say you don't get paid enough, then go and look for a place that you will be paid enough. And then the unethical and unprofessional thing, people also say that not meeting my expectations. The organization is not meeting my expectations, or some of the people are not meeting my expectations. Those are unethical and unprofessional things to say. So how do we foster a culture of professionalism in the workplace? One, we do that by setting expectations early. From the onboarding, that is why you begin to set the expectations. So organizations have policy that every year individuals in the organization set their own goals that align with the goals of the organization. So once you do that, it shows that yes, you are a professional, and that fosters a culture of professionalism in the workplace, setting of goals. And even when you are setting the goals, you have to set them early. We are now in November. You should begin to set goals for 2025. If you don't set goals early, you will rush in setting the goals. And when you set goals while rushing, you will make a lot of errors and a lot of mistakes that will be very costly. The other thing that fosters a culture of professionalism is by providing training and development opportunities. During evaluation, the assessment and rest, their needs are shown that, okay, this person lacks this skill, or this person is deficient in this area and needs training. And also development is a continuous thing. And once there are those opportunities, we should be able to create those opportunities and allow people to enjoy those opportunities. Some HR, unfortunately, they call themselves professionals. They don't provide training opportunities, and even while the opportunities come, they only select few individuals. They don't send people for training based on the need. No, but it was based on the fact that who know, or maybe they create avenues to be able to help some of their favorites to get allowances when they travel. So as professionals, we should be able to create that avenue based on the needs, and then develop our colleagues when the opportunities arises. So the next thing is rewarding employees for their hard work. This is very important. Some say because they receive salary, you pay them, that's all. No, you should be able to reward employees that are hardworking. When you now discipline people that don't work very hard, then the requirement or the ideal thing to do is to reward employees that work very hard. So if you do that, it shows that you are fostering a culture of professionalism in that workplace, and then creating an atmosphere where everybody feels at home, where everybody feels welcome and respected. It is our responsibility as professionals, as HR professionals, to do that. Even where the workplace seems to be toxic, it is your responsibility to make the atmosphere, the environment conducive, so that people will feel welcome, people will feel respected. Don't behave because you are an HR person, you disrespect people, you don't welcome people, people are afraid to approach you, you are just like a semi-god in that place. That is not professionalism. You are not being professional, and you are showing a bad culture. So you should be able to foster a culture of professionalism where everybody will be welcome and even respected. And of course, showing appreciation is very important. So what are the consequences of unethical behavior, both to you and the organization or the workplace? The first one is raw morale. Definitely the consequences are that the morale of the workers will go down. And once their morale is low, definitely it will affect productivity. So there will be lower productivity in that place. And then the second one, the third one, as part of the consequences of unethical and unprofessional behavior, is that there will be strict laws. Because certain things happen because of the fact that you are not ethical, or in your behaviors, and you are not professional in your behavior. So the organization, especially the management, may come up with rules that will be very tough. So that's part of the consequences. If maybe they allow, let's say, like free lunch, for example, and because people behave in an unethical way, in an unprofessional way, one of the rules, they'll say, okay, we will not provide free lunch again during work hours. That's just one example. Or they may even make the rules, like now, the flexible working hours. Some will say, okay, you don't come to work every day. You can work from home, maybe 2 days or 3 days. But because of unethical and unprofessional behavior, that's okay. Because of that, everybody should be coming to work from Monday to Fridays. or if it is a private business, sometimes from Mondays to Saturdays. And then fewer privileges. The consequences is that certain privileges will be withdrawn so that you will be left with few privileges. The other consequences are to do with the job loss. Sometimes because you are an ethical person, you are not professional, then they will ask you to go, so you will lose your job. The other one is, the bigger one is that because of unethical and unprofessional behavior, as a consequence, sometimes the organization will even be closed, the business will close. Sometimes part of the consequences is because of the unethical way and unethical behavior of the workers or the HR and other stakeholders, there will be undesirable work environment. And when the work environment is not desirable, definitely there will be turnover, the high turnover. Workers will leave. A lot of people will leave. Your customers will not be doing business with you because the environment wasn't conducive. And then, of course, there will be toxic relationship. And once there is toxic relationship among workers as a result of unethical and unbehavior, then the consequences are so many and they are grave. So we just have to be mindful of this and make sure that all these consequences and others that I have not mentioned, we make sure that they don't occur in the workplace or they don't come to pass. So in conclusion, I want to conclude by saying that workplace professionalism and ethics helps to, one, set the organization apart, where people who are professionals and they exhibit good ethical behaviors, you find that that organization will be an exception. People will want to do business with that organization. It also creates a positive work environment. That's why some people stay in an organization for many years, not because of the salary alone. In fact, I know some people that stay in a place for 10 years without promotion. Sometimes you begin to wonder, why are they still working in that organization? The answer is very simple, because the place is very conducive. The work environment is conducive. It's very positive. People will always want to work there. I remember one organization that I worked for, even during Saturdays and Sundays, if you go to the workplace, you will find people working because of the fact that the atmosphere was conducive. They created a good working environment. And then building trust among colleagues is very, very important. If there is no trust among colleagues, then there will be chaos and there will be a lot of work for us, especially for us HR professionals. You will always be having issues, difficulties. So it's our responsibility to build trust among colleagues, not only among colleagues, but even within the organization, both the management and the staff. So to achieve this, we need to establish clear and concise policies regarding employee behavior. If you don't do that, some of them, they don't know in terms of what is right and what is wrong, what they are expected to do and not to do, how they are expected to respond to even emails. There are some people that they don't know how to respond to official emails or even WhatsApp group address. That's why in some WhatsApp groups, you find some people say certain things. So those people, either because they don't know exactly what to behave or how to behave, to be because of the fact that they lack the ethical training, or because they don't know the policies, especially in the workplace that has to do with the way that we respond to our colleagues using either emails or WhatsApp group or any other medium that will communicate. Then we also need to model professional behavior ourselves. We should be models. Don't say, do like I say, but don't do like I do. No, that is unethical. That is not professional. It's not, as a professional, you should be able to tell people that they should even emulate you. What you say, you should be able to put it into practice. And then we should encourage each other to do the right thing. Encourage each other to do the right thing. So in summary, the bottom line is that professionalism is important in the workplace. I didn't specify the types of workplaces. No, anywhere you work, anything you do, if it is workplace, you should be able to exhibit professionalism. In doing that, you should be professional. There are some jobs that people feel as if they are either second class or low class or whatever they classify it. Yes, as a professional, if you find yourself in that place, you should be able to work in such a way that that place, the people that do business will know that, yes, you are a professional. So there are many ways to promote it within the organization. So by learning about this topic that we've discussed, ethics and professionalism, you can become more effective and you can become a professional in your workplace. So once again, thank you for listening and for your attention. So it's now time for questions and answers. Over to you, my ECM. Hello.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very excellent, exciting presentation. If you like to ask questions, please share your story with us. This is a very good tool to unmute and to contribute. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you want to ask questions, you want to share your experience, your story around this subject matter, you want to share with us, or you have a question for our facilitator,
If there is no any other question, let me stop sharing.
I don't see any questions. I see people sending in their appreciation. Just ask one more time. Any question, any comments, any clarifications, please? I would like to thank you so much, Mr. Shukushe, for this excellent present. Oh, all right. I see. Madam Princess, you can unmute, ma. You can make your contributions, ma.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, my fellow. Mr. Chukwusi, thank you very much, sir, for that very, very insightful session and presentation. I wasn't expecting anything else anyway. That's how we roll for those of us that have been professional practitioners like yourself, sir. So thank you very much. Again, my doctor, I want to say thank you also for this continuous, learning process that you take us through day in, day out, tirelessly. It is so encouraging, and it is so, rewarding to sit through all of this. Sometimes, when they say that the only thing that can never be fully occupied is that room for improvement. And the more we sit down to listen to all of these things, the more we're able to improve ourselves as professionals. Mr. Sukushe, thank you very much, sir. I just wanted to also, reinforce some of the things that you've said. And I know that we're a mixture of different people that are online this evening. And when we're talking about work ethics and, being able to be HR practitioners in the proper ethical way, one line that keeps coming to me is in our scripts, when we read our CIPM, and it says that always consider resignation as an option. It is always an option. So if anything is going to tarnish your ethical behavior or your ethical professionalism whilst you're doing your work, if anything is going to make you not work in an ethical manner as an HR practitioner and professional, please don't forget that it is better for you to resign than for you to step down on that your credibility as an ethical professional, because therein lies your integrity and credibility. So I just wanted to say that, especially for those that are in leadership position, in wherever score of work that you are, if you are holding a position of leadership, ethics becomes more for us to practice, because it is whatever we do as leaders that would, reflect on those that we're leading. And we're supposed to be their mentors. We're supposed to be their role models. We're supposed to be the ones that actually showing the way. So there is a different expectation of that work ethics, particularly from leaders. And so all the things that Mrs. Sukusha has said today, if you're a leader in the house, it behoves on you to take it hook, line, and sinker and do it and practice it and let it be seen. That's what I was just going to contribute. Thank you very much for the opportunity. God bless her.
Thank you so much, ma. Mr. Shukusha, I don't know if you want to react to that beautiful submission by Princess.
My reaction is to thank the Princess for her beautiful contribution. As usual, anytime Princess contributes, you always find excellent things. You find things that you will take home. And not only taking home, you will even take to your workplace. Thank you, Ma, for that contribution.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, I'm still checking if there are any hands up or if there are any questions or comments. All right, all I see is encomiums, accolades, appreciation. Thank you so much. I must say that the very first quotation that you started with today really struck a chord in my heart, that the reputation of 1,000 years, is dependent on the conduct of 1 hour. I think that really encapsulates everything that you have taught us today. Thank you so much for sharing with us so generously, so graciously from your wealth of experience. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it a wrap. I think this is a very convenient point, and we'll meet again tomorrow for another exciting edition. Please, let's get some rest. Let me unmute everyone. So if you want to say thank you to our facilitator for tonight, we can go ahead can also do so. We encourage people to, give voice to Shukushe.
Thank you, Mr. Chukwuche.
Thank you, Mr. Chukwuche.
Thank you, Dr.
We
Chukwuche. Very
appreciate you.
insightful.
Thank you very much for sharing your deep experience with us.
So educated.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you,
More
Dr.
grace to your
Abiodun.
level.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam, too.
Thank you.
For
Please displace
adding
your
your voice.
address again, no, your phone number.
Thank you, Mr. Skushi.
Okay,
Thank you.